amount of freedom one had. It gave you choice and opportunities for doing what you wanted to do. Catherine Drummond, now aged 99, who volunteered as a wireless operator, says her wartime experiences widened her horizons and stiffened her resolve. "I know it changed me," she says. "It gave me more confidence in myself, and it made me very independent. You were away from home and had to fend for yourself." The final years are now in sight for the remaining women of Britain's greatest generation, who displayed extraordinary fortitude and endurance on the home front and beyond in the Second World War. The women who came of age during the conflict are in their mid-90s at the youngest, lending an urgency to the task of capturing their recollections and reflections for posterity. 10 former female recruits have related their compelling wartime experiences of triumphs and losses for this oral history. Speaking from their homes, ranging from personal housing to assisted living accommodation, they reflect from the vantage point of later life on how they coped with danger, trauma and pressure, and tell how their spirits were fortified by friendship and romance. The aim herein has been to use first-person testimony, gathered through extensive interviews, to foreground the distinctive voice of each woman. Their words have been interwoven with other contemporary sources, including letters, diaries, and newspaper reports. Having inhabited a variety of vital wartime roles, collectively, these women also represent the widest social and geographical cross-section of society. Some came from backgrounds of grinding poverty, while others enjoyed gilded childhoods before joining the war effort. They grew up in locations all across Britain and beyond the Atlantic in pre-independence Jamaica at the time a British colony. Their work during the conflict took place in a range of diverse environments too. Joy Hunter, who is 95, served as a secretary in Winston Churchill's subterranean cabinet war rooms beneath Whitehall. For 102-year-old J. Edwards, an airfield in Yorkshire was the base from which she worked as a pilot delivering Spitfires to the front line. Together, these women's stories paint a rich picture that illustrates how the status and expectations of their sex evolved throughout the conflict. The subjects of this book are also certain that the wartime contribution of women had a lasting impact on their place in society during subsequent decades. It became recognised that women were up to it, declares 98-year-old Betty Webb, who assisted code-breaking at Bletchley Park. Ina Collymore Woodstock, now 103, who travelled from the West Indies to join the British war effort in an anti-aircraft unit, agrees. The women held their own and showed they were strong and capable. Myriad female volunteers leapt at the chance to enlist from the start of the war in 1939, while conscription, introduced for women aged between 20 and 30 at the end of 1941, netted millions more. By mid-1943, 90% of single women and 80% of married women were employed in essential activities linked to the war effort. While they were not required to bear arms, and in all but a clutch of exceptional units were barred from doing so, many women still took up jobs that placed them under enemy attack and the threat of death. Several 100,000 signed up to the female branches of the armed forces that were created in the year leading up to the outbreak of war. The Auxiliary Territorial Service, ATS, was established in connection to the British Army. The Women's Royal Naval Service, WRNS, or WRENS, was set up to assist the Royal Navy, and the Women's Auxiliary Air Force, WAAF, WAAF, was the all-female organisation linked to the Royal Air Force. Each auxiliary service had its own character and quirks. The WRNS was seen as dominated by high-born recruits, while the WAAF was widely viewed as the most meritocratic service. The range of military roles that women were permitted to perform